Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Michelle. Another extra video for you today. I recently bought myself some fancy new coloring in pencils and I've been using them in the box that it came in, but the box is quite frustrating because it's in layers and it takes up a lot of space and that sort of thing. And although I love having them in the perfect color order that they came in, they're not quite too practical for me at the moment. So I decided that I need a pencil case for it. So I did first look at my supplier, but she didn't have the big pencil case from Arlene. So I decided to make a plan. So I quickly went to the shop and I grabbed this little toiletry bag. It was so cheap. It was like 40 Rand, which I don't know, maybe that's around $2. No, $4. I don't know, US. I don't know, something. It was really, really cheap. So I got it and I decided that will work. But then when I got home, I decided I'm going to pimp this little bag and make it my own. I guess Marlene-ify it a little bit. So I grabbed out my Frantic Deco stencil, and I'm just going to stencil on this bag with a couple of different colors using a couple of different of these patterns. I first tried to do it without putting something inside the bag, but then I realized, okay, this is not going to work. So I popped in a little journal into the bag just to give me a little bit more of a stable surface, and that worked much better. So when I started, I decided I'll do both sides on camera, but then I realized it might be a little bit tedious for you guys to watch me do the same thing over and over again on each side. So I soon switched to just doing one side. You will see this side here, the stenciling is not very crisp with that first set of stenciling that I did. That's just because I didn't have that book inside the bag. But it's okay. In the end, you can't really see it because I did manage to cover it up somewhat and just hide it. So the colors that I used were Kissy, which is the darker pink color. Then I used lavender, which is obviously a light purple. And now I'm using azure, which is quite a nice deep dark teal color. At first, I was trying to keep my stenciling in groups of 3, just as I always do in my normal pages, because that just works better for me. It's just a little, I guess, rule that I have in my head that I know works when I've got stenciling or patterning going on in the background. It just makes for a nice balanced composition. So I started out with 3, then for the other colors, so the circles, I just did one group of circles, and then for that green pattern that I've got on there, I also just did one. And it was just because I wanted a little extra pop of something there, but I didn't want it to be too much. So I wanted to make the circles yellow, and what I did there is I first used some white paint, Marlene's lace paint, and I just gave the circles a base layer just to push the pink back a little bit more, because otherwise if I'd gone over the yellow, over the bag with just yellow, it would have had a little bit of an orange tint because of the bag that's pink. So now that I've put the white down first, it actually gives the yellow a solid base to sit on. Then I went in with Envy, that is green, to make those little almondy leafy kind of shapes. And of course I need a black and white stripe on my bag here and there. So I did 2 sets of black and white stripes, just using the stencil again as a template. And then once I've got all of that nice and dry, I will start adding some details with paint pens. I did make sure to clean my desk first because I know that I would probably end up smudging the bag through a blob of paint. Okay, so to give these bubbles a little bit of dimension, I'm just going in with the shadow. So I'm using the orange paint pen and I'm just doing a little line and then watering it out with my wet paintbrush. And you'll see how that just makes them look just a little bit different. And I'm going to start adding some white in between the black stripes. And the first layer went on fairly white, so I was actually surprised, but then I dried it and it just kind of sank away. So I had to dry it once and then do a second layer. And then that second layer is really nice and opaque. It looks nice and bright. I'm not sure how long it's going to stay white for. It's probably going to get very dirty very quickly, but that's okay. It's there for me and that's fine. I know that it's there and I enjoyed the process of making this. Giving everything a dry as I go, because obviously now this is not on paper, so the paint does take a little bit longer to dry as it seeps into the fabric. So because it's going into the fabric, it takes a little bit longer to dry. Then I decided to do some stamping. So I'm using this gibberish stamp. And now that I look at it, I'm actually sorry that I did it. I don't know, it just feels like it made the bag look a little bit mucky and dirty. But it is what it is. It's there. We'll just work with it. I also wanted to try the new stencil pastes on fabric to see if it's going to work, if it's going to dry, if it's going to hold their shape. And then obviously in a couple of months' time, we'll know if they're going to come off or not. So they did take longer to dry than obviously it would on paper, but they did dry and they look really nice. They're still keeping their shape. I did smudge that one and I actually just waited for it to dry for a while and then I went over it again. So I've got my purple stars in one corner and then I decided I definitely needed some pink stars as well because I'm obsessed with this pink stencil paste. Just love it. I think mine will be finished very soon and I'm going to probably have to stock up again very soon. So I did one side, I did leave it for about 2 hours to dry and then I did the other side as well. And I think that's it. Oh, I did add a little quote from one of Marlene's stamp sets that was, can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's from one of her quote sets and it's something about creativity or something along those lines. I don't know. Let's see. Can't remember. Craftiness is happiness. That's what it was. So I just did a quick one stamp just on one side. I didn't do the other side. And then I left it at that. I also finished off with one of my little charms that I'd made earlier. You can watch those videos over on YouTube, on Instagram and Facebook where I've posted that. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe and I will chat to you again soon. Okay, bye.